it's your girl City, and you're tuning to City Talks. And I'm about to tell y'all a story while I do my makeup. What's up? Okay, so I'm going to do like every day. Like I'm gonna take some pictures. I just don't have any more to post, and I'm just gonna tell y'all about when I got fired. So this was recently too, bitch. Okay, so well, y'all don't know, but I've been working at my job. I'm gonna have this mirror down here, so. But I've been working. I was working at my job for literally fired me, bitch, before they did my evaluation, like my year evaluation. Literally, bitch. Like it was past a few days, right? Which is your yearly evaluation. Y'all know the T. You get your raise. You know everything. So, and mind you, at my job, sweetie, our boss wasn't giving nobody day evaluations, girl. It was people since February that it was no coronavirus to get their evals, and she ain't did them. But we did have like our old boss. She retired, girl. The lady that I liked, she retired or whatever. And boo, I'm not gonna act like I didn't like this lady, but I just don't respect her. I used to respect her, but I don't anymore. Just because I feel like what she did was very like, it was just full of shit. Like what she did was full of shit. And the only reason I'm gonna just tell you guys, and then I know for a fact you'll feel like she's full of shit too, because like it's just full of shit. So boom, like I said, I was working there. Everything was great. Mind you, it was two people in my position. You guys know I work in the medical field, like insurance, things like that. So, mind you, when I first started, it was another girl there and me, okay? And I was supposed to work at one location, and she was going to work at another location, okay? Mind you, I'm not a complainer. When I go to a job, I know what I apply for. Like, I know the position. While I'm there, like, that's just what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to take my ass home. And I also feel it's because like I have a life. Maybe that's why I act like that. Like when I leave, like I have shit going on. So maybe that's why. But like I'm not like that. Like I don't really care. Like when I'm there, like all that y'all have going on here, y'all mess, y'all drama, that's just not my, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It might be, I am a female. So it might be entertaining like for a few days, but after a while, I'm gonna just start feeling like, bitch, you shouldn't be telling me about the same problems still. So I'll just start looking at you like it's not entertaining anymore. You kind of look a little dumb to me. So, and the other girl, she was good, and she was kind of like that too. She wasn't gossipy. I also feel she was just tired of being there, like that's also how it is sometimes. And I believe she worked there for like 5 years. That's how it is. Sometimes you get tired of a job. You just want to do something else, or you feel like, you're not getting anything. And just as a person, okay, this is just how I feel and how I look at life. And I feel like it's not fair to the employees, but I do feel if I've been working somewhere, right, for a year or 2 years, I should be feeling that. I should have gotten a raise. I should have maybe got some changes, to my position. I should have maybe had like a little movement. But jobs will literally have you there. And for my eyebrows, I use iStudio like eyebrow gel. So for years they'll have you in the same position. You could be doing the best job, right? They won't you'll just continue working there. And it's just like if you're not a ass kisser, or you're not in somebody's face all the time, and you're just a person at work, I apologize to you, because you're not going to get what you deserve. You're just not going to get what you deserve, because the type of people that just are actual workers and aren't like ass kissers and stuff, never get what they deserve. That's just the truth of the matter. You never are going to get what you deserve in a timely manner. I'll say, I won't be negative because that sounds really negative. It won't be in a timely manner because you're not going to be busy kissing ass and letting yourself be known. You're going to do the right thing and just be doing your fucking job and thinking that your boss will just notice you because you're doing your job, right? That's what you think. But that's just not how it is. It's not how it is. It's never how it is. It's always based off of who is in their asshole. It's never based off of your work or you. It's just not. It's never. So, I came there, and the girl was there for like 5 years. She was sick of their shit. So when I started working there, I was like, okay, she must really be tired because we not even getting enough fucking, we weren't really getting a lot of referrals really to last through the day. So in my mind, I'm like, I really can do both of this. Shit, I know her clinic and my clinic, but she was black, I'm black. I wasn't going to let it be known that maybe she was over-exaggerating about the workload. Because that was her livelihood, that's her job. I'm just not that type of person. And so I just was doing my little part or whatever, training and everything like that. And so I was at my position. He put her 2 weeks in right when they was finna fire her, so they just fired her, right? And they was like, well, we honestly want to give you a raise because we really feel as if you can do both. And now this is before the lady that is there now got there, right? This is a seasoned bitch. Like, that's why I respect the old lady. That's a seasoned bitch. She was older. She was seasoned. She knew a hard-working person. She was a straight shooter. And she knew a person that just stayed out the way and minded their damn business. I really did connect with that woman because that's the type of person I am. I'm a straight shooter. Don't call me in the office and talk around. Call me in the office and say what you have to say. I'm going to say what I have to say, and either we're going to move forward or we're going to move apart. That's just the type of person I am, too. I don't do all that, well, so-and-so, what you got me in here for? You know, because like I said, work is just a branch of my life. It's not my life. So, she's like, her and the other boss are like, we feel as if you can do both, and, you're this and you're that, and period. So I'm like, okay, perfect. They gave me a raise. I'm doing both. We discussed the dollar amount. We got a good dollar amount. Boom, bitch. We're in business. Okay. So I start doing both. So I'm traveling. Each day of the week, I was at a new clinic. So Monday, I'm here. Tuesday, I'm here. Wednesday, like that. I'm doing this. Then the lady retired, so the new lady come. So I was surprised because she was young. Because usually, in clinic, if you work in like clinics and healthcare, usually your boss is never a younger lady. It's always like Diana. I'm sorry. That's not her real name, so I gotta blank it out. But like the other lady, she was older, more seasoned, straight shooter, not into like kikiing, very much, a boss. So when the new lady comes, I see her, we meet her. I'm like, wow, she was very beautiful, but she also was very nice. Okay, I'm like, okay, bitch, okay, cool. But like I said, in my heart of hearts, I don't care what the lady is like because I'm not going to be in her face encountering her because that's not how I am. That's how I'm thinking, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to be all around her because she's still my boss, and I don't ever want my boss talking to me like that because you're trained in the work world. Like, that's a negative, bitch. Your boss usually never be kikiing with you. Like, jobs, if you have that, you're lucky, but you know what I mean. So I wasn't like, on her top. So she comes and, as time goes on, she starts talking to me, right? And I start, saying little small things to her. I'm nice genuinely. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I even be trying to stop being so nice to people, but that's really just my personality. So I was being nice to her and stuff, and mind you, y'all know, shit, y'all sit here and watch me on YouTube. My personality, I be talking, it's pretty entertaining, whatever. And I'm not saying it in a cocky way. These are just the story. That's just the truth. So we talking, the lady, she's asking me like, well, where is you from and what's going on with you? Like, what's your story, kind of like what's more about you and everything. So I start talking to the woman, and she's cool. She's like, well, I moved away when I was young too, and really took that time to try to find myself. I like her. I'm like, okay, we cool. But the end of the story made me happy that I really genuinely learned my lesson so long ago. Like with these jobs, like they don't ever genuinely, like I don't feel, just from all my experiences, like I don't ever feel as if you could ever have a genuine connection with your employer. I just feel like that, because it's like you can be nice to someone, you can sit and talk to them, they can talk, you can talk to them about your life, they can tell you like, dang, like wow, and still will add themselves to that list that you told them about of people. So, girl, so we're talking. I'm like, okay, lady, you're a cool lady. Okay, so wait. So with my look, I always do, the eyes is my thing, okay? So I'm always going to take a dark brown on my lid and nudes to buff it out. So I'm going to take this brown from the Zulu palette from Juvia's Place and like a packing brush and kind of just pack it on there like this little brush. Okay. So boom, okay. Time goes on and I'm talking to her, and I notice like I feel as if I'm very intelligent. I'm trying to advance in my life. I feel like she was young, so it was an opportunity. Like she understands like a little bit more than the other lady, like social media and stuff like that. And I do feel like I have a talent in marketing and social media and stuff like that, because I do it for myself all the time. Like I could think of a business and make it successful in 3 to 4 months and have it like having steady customers, steady Instagram, things like that. So I'm like, okay, I see this lady. She's younger. Let me talk to her. So I started looking up the job. We don't have like their social media accounts are terrible. They don't have like, and it's a doctor's office, mind you, but it has like all of the really majority of the predominant doctors in the area were in this office, because I like working in healthcare, especially doing insurance and stuff like that. I've seen their names a lot. So I'm familiar with their names. I know their names. And so I'm like, I'm Googling it, looking it up, and I'm like, okay, people leave bad reviews. There's nobody responding back. Da, da, da. So I go and present to her like, maybe we can fix that, our social media presence, just our online presence, period, and everything like that. Present it to her, tell her, she's like, oh my God, like you're so smart. You're so extraordinary, all this type of stuff, right? Boom, right? And I believe her a little bit. I believe her. What she said is true. And I'm going to take this color here called Sand Dollar. And it's like a tan from the Wanderlust palette I got in my little Ipsy bag. And I'm going to take this brush and just blend my brown out and up. So it's just on the lid predominantly. And so girl, look, I go and present to her like I can fix our social media presence. Like I know how to do A, B, and C, which is sad, but is a gamble to explain these things to your employer, because this brown ain't dark enough, and I'm looking for a dark tease today because I really want to give like sultry vibes, because I'm gonna curl my hair. So I'm gonna go in my Huda Beauty Topaz, and I'm gonna use this brown. And I'm going to use the same type of little packing brush and just pack this, because that just wasn't dark enough. And I usually would do red, but I don't feel like doing like a little burgundy tease today, so I'm just going to do my brown. But yeah, so I believe her, and I'm like, okay, cool, this looks good. And usually I have myself trained like to not get excited, but I'm not gonna lie, like she sold it. Like I was like excited, like okay, wow, okay, cool. And I was just excited about the job, period, because just the way that it was presented to me. And I be feeling like jobs are worse than old pimps, because that's all they do is lie to you and get you all like in cahoots to work your ass off for their company and do what you need to do, come on time, stay late, help this person, help that person for their company. And then when they're all done, it's just like, okay, thanks. Sorry, but really not even sorry. And so, boom, okay. So I go and I'm like, okay, cool. So me, like I said, being a smart person, a young person, trying to make a, present myself to her. I go home, I make pamphlets and brochures, because we had all these like programs, diabetes programs, all these programs that nobody knew about really, because the patients used to call and ask if we still had the class, period. So I'm like, okay, cool, we do. And I'm going to put, make some flyers so we can put in the rooms and all that. So I go to my house on the weekend, y'all, and I make these pamphlets for the diabetes class. I do all this stuff, and I presented to her on Monday. She was shook. Like, I don't think she thought that I was really going to take it serious and bring her back a result. I really just think that she didn't think that. Not she didn't think it in a negative way. I just think she just didn't think that. I just think that she just was like, I didn't prime my face. So I'm going to put this Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer on. But yeah, so I'm thinking she just was like, damn, okay. Like, okay. So I brought it to her, and she was like, looking at me again. I'm like, oh, okay. Right? Okay. So, boom. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to present this to this people, the doctors and blah, 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 because we were a doctor-funded clinic. So she's like, I'm going to tell the doctors that they're going to decide, blah, blah, boom. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, long story short, bitch, I ain't never heard nothing else about that. So I never heard nothing else about it, but I never brought it up again. Because, I did my part. I put the ball in her court. They came out with, like, our plan. Oh, and I use MAC powder for my foundation. I don't use, like, liquid foundation. Well, not right now. I just haven't been using it for a while, actually. And I use this from Juvia's Place, this brush. But yeah, so she never brought nothing else about it. They announced the rules and stuff that they was going to do for the following, like, upcoming year. And of course, like, what I said wasn't on there. But that's just how it goes. Like, I'm like, okay, cool, shit, maybe they just couldn't do it this year. Maybe something happened, maybe whatever. I don't care. I feel like I'm going to still be working here. So when they do it, hopefully I'll get the opportunity. That's how I feel. And mind you, I always am also working for myself, and always working for, like, thinking in my mind, I'm not going to be here for the rest of my life. But while I'm there, I'm going to apply myself. I'm going to do, my best. And it's going to be, bitch, it's going to be lit. It's going to be good. So I'm still there. Mind you, I've never been called in office. No drama. No nothing. Nothing, right? So this is when it starts getting a little bit worked up, bitch. This is when the tea starts a little bit, girl. So I worked for a woman who was a dietitian. I worked for a woman that was a Medicare wellness nurse. And then I worked for a woman that was a pharmacist. So it was a point in time where me and the Medicare nurse, we was not seeing eye to eye. And if I'm being completely honest, it was very stupid and immature. But this bitch, she used to walk by me at work, girl. Wasn't speaking to me, like, was reading me down, basically, bitch. Was just paying me dust. And this all just happened random one day. Like, I think she asked me to do something for her. Because, okay, I didn't work for them, but I did do their schedule, check all their insurance and things like that, right? So it was a point in time where she had no patience, and she asked me, and I let my concealer sit for a minute. So she asked me, I'm on the phone with the insurance, all my papers and documents in front of me that I have to fill in, you know, things like that. And I'm holding the phone on hold, typing. She gonna come up to me after she just sat in the other lady office talking and tell me why, like, I should call this person because they can't come because something happened with their insurance, and call them to reschedule. And it was like 30 minutes, 45 minutes before their appointment. All her appointments were with older people, so bitch, they are getting ready at this time. Why did you stand in there and talk and walk around for these hours? You know? So when she came up to me and asked me to do it, I was like, no. I was like, I can't. Like, you know, in my mind, I'm just in my mind like, bitch. So that was our little exchange, and this girl, she just was not talking to me for weeks, right? So I tell the type of person I am, I really do not like conflict because I don't care. At work, I don't like conflict because, like I say, everybody there, it's not, you know? So it's like, I don't feel like I should ever be arguing, having back and forth or nothing with nobody at my job because that's my job. Like, only thing I care about is doing what I'm supposed to do and going home. Like, I don't care about all that. So I noticed that she stopped talking to me, but what am I supposed to say? Like, I didn't confront her. I didn't say nothing. Okay. You know, she ain't talking to me. I guess she in her feelings. I just looked at it like, all right, oh well. So, but I told the boss, and I sent it to her in an email, and then I walked in there and told her that she was, like, ignoring me, acting real weird towards me, real, like, it was static. So that's the only reason I said something, because I started to get frustrated. And as a black woman, I'm going to protect myself every point of the way. So I always send emails. If somebody is bothering me at work or making me feel uncomfortable and I feel like I might actually say something, I'm going to always type everything out with the dates. Do that. Because at the end of the day, if I did turn around one day and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? There's paper trail that this bitch has been doing A, B, and C for months now. Or, you know what I mean? And I always will tell my boss, you don't have to go. Don't stir up no commotion. Don't say nothing to them. I don't want nobody to get rolled up. Hopefully it'll just blow off in the wind. But I'm just letting you know. Right? So I go in her office and do so like I do. Baby, her response is, I'm just going to use some names. She said, Susie is getting smart with you. I mean, she's like, was saying, she didn't say white trash, but she was like, I mean, basically looking like I'm above her and she down here. So why is she even getting crunk with me? Basically is what she was saying. She was like, I mean, that's kind of bold, don't you think? Like, she's getting smart with you. Like, basically was saying that the lady's slow. She don't know nothing, all this type of stuff. So in my mind, I feel like she thought I was going to take that as a nugget, like, oh, she like me or she cool with me because she talking about her. In my mind, I'm like, this bitch is snaky and she weird and she don't care, because any manager is not going to talk about an employee with you, period, point blank. I ain't had that shit happen since I worked in a bar, that my boss was talking about somebody. This lady was, like, giving high energy, like, what? Like, who she thinks she is getting smart with you? Like, and she was like, what does she even do? Like, girl, was reading the lady, okay? And so I'm in there like, like, girl, you know, but that's what's happening. And I mean, we can talk. If she do something else, we can all come talk in here, but hopefully, you know, we'll just start talking again. And so I'm still talking about what I'm talking about. And she's like talking about the lady. She was reading her. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And so, because at the end of the day, she's the boss. I'm not the boss. I'm not about to indulge in talking about nobody. Sorry, I'm not saying shit, because at the end of the day, you can sit in your office and talk about this lady all day. I'm not doing it. I know my ranking. I know my spot. And I do. I feel like she thought I would take it like... And I also sprayed my sponge with the Dewy Finish Nick spray. But yeah, so I feel like she thought I was going to take it like, okay, we gossiping and, bitch, you know my homegirl. But yeah, so that's what she did. And so long story short, the woman, we did. We started talking. Everything was all good. And I had another falling out with the other woman, the pharmacist. And to me, it was just, I think it was just different waves of them like taking it too far, like that I work for them because I'm very nice. And I feel like every time I work somewhere, it's always going to be the growing pains of like your limits as a person. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you work under somebody, you always going to have that once or twice where you have to tell them like your limit. You have to show them your limit. Like, all right now, whatever. Honey, this lady was yelling at me, had people looking at her, hollering at me, telling me to do something for her, why I didn't do it when she told me, bitch, all this type of stuff. Now, this is what one of the women was doing to me. This is a whole different woman, okay? It's not even the same person. And I handled it the same way, let her know, said out, you know, we can either have a sit down or whatever. So we ended up having a sit down with this lady because she extra. I love her, but she just so extra, child. So we ended up having to sit down. This bitch, what made me mad is she gonna take the time to type out some shit that she just thought of that day. Because mind you, I wasn't even really making no mistakes. It was just the fact of, like I said, they was trying to run over me. And they was trying to be like, oh, well, see my limits and see. Because the other girl used to cuss their ass out. And look them in their face and be like, I don't have to do that, or no, and everything. And I'm looking at her like she a bitch and she rude. But no, she just been working there all that time and she know how they get down. So I'm going to use number 14 Juvia's Place Concealer. And I'm going to add some because y'all know I love a concealer. Yeah, so y'all know I love a concealer. And it's just hard because on here it be looking completely different. But then like in person and on here, whatever, I don't care. But yeah, so, and I'm not going to use a lot because I be stacking concealer. But I only stack it, and I'm wiping some off. I only stack it right under. So I'm going to let this set a little, no, I don't think I let the Julia set. And I like to use this type of brush. So yeah. So, you know, we had a little sit down. She gonna come in there, y'all, with some paper. Talking about, you know, this happened and this happened. Like I accidentally scheduled somebody, put somebody on the wrong schedule. It was the right time and stuff, but instead of one of their names, I hit the other lady name and it was on her schedule. Something that I could just change when they found it. You know, but she called me in the office because of that. But really, she called me in the office because I told her don't talk to me like that. And I read her ass when she tried to talk to me like she was crazy. That's the real reason why she called me in the office. But anyway, so we had that sit down. When we had that sit down, the lady leave. She tells me, the boss tells me, you know, stay behind or whatever. So I'm like, oh shit. I didn't do anything in the meeting. And I'm like, damn, what I gotta stay behind for? Because the lady was doing the most, honey, was trying to piss me off. I could tell she was trying to piss me off, but she just didn't because I could tell that she was trying to piss me off. So it didn't piss me off. So when she leave, bitch, my boss is like, oh my God, like closes the door. She was like, she's a bit of a spaz. Isn't she a spaz? And she's like, she's very, like, overbearing, overthinking. Isn't she? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, is she just trying to get me to, you know? So I'm in there like, oh, I mean, well, that's just Jill. Oops. Well, I was like, you know, that's just her. And, I mean, she's a little extra. And I'm the one that just got into it with the lady. I'm the one. And I'm sitting there like, well, she just, I mean, that's just how she is. Or, you know, whatever like that. And this lady is like, oh, my God. Like going in again, right? About an employee. Oh, my goodness. About an employee. And she's really not even just an employee. Like, this bitch is like, she do so much around the clinic. She's such a smart woman. But anyway, so she was like, and talking about, with that list and everything. And she was like, and she gonna tell me, I mean, you just impress me every day. Because like she was saying, once again, like, I didn't react and I didn't do this and I didn't do that. So she's like, you're impressing me, you know, once again, and you're just, and she's like looking at me, bitch, like I'm her fucking adoptive black child with my hands on her hips, with her hands on her hips, like you're impressive. I say it like this now because she showed me her character. Like, I didn't feel like that at first. I felt like, okay, like I might have a job, but that was wrong on my behalf because no real boss or no real person is gonna show you them like talking about people, especially if they're trying to like guide you in the right direction, because that's not the right thing to do. So she wouldn't have showed me that. But anyway, so yeah, so she, you know, says all that, and she's like, yeah, you are so impressive, and you know how you handle these situations without, you know, yelling, or even when they yell at you. She's like, you don't ever get out of character, you know. And I looked her in her face and just told her, I said, you get trained that you can't get upset. Bitch, I'm black. If I start yelling at one of these women here, you know how they're gonna act? They're gonna act like Mike Tyson is in this bitch yelling. They're gonna do the oh, you know, bitch, I don't play that game with you hoes. So she was like, yeah, she's so spazzing. She's gonna come in here with that list, and she's like, and everything that she said was like normal. I mean, people make mistakes, and mind you, I wasn't working there that long, and that's true. I agree. Like, shit, people do make mistakes, and I'm new still, and I'm working 2 clinics. You know, I've accepted this responsibility, and after that meeting, they didn't have to call me in there no more. But still, you know, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm doing my work. Everything is good. Everything's cool. So some time goes by. We in the coronavirus, bitch. So the coronavirus start. We ain't had no meeting. Okay? We have had no meeting. We've had no powwow. We've had no nothing happen, right? Only thing that happened is they came around with this paper because they cut our hours telling us to get on unemployment. And then it was denied because we wasn't working the amount of hours to get unemployment, which the job knew. And they told us to get on unemployment, even though they knew we wouldn't get it. I don't care what nobody say. So they did that. Then her conniving ass got the other lady fired that's been there before her, so she could work by herself. Like, she had the whole clinic kind of, it was her shit. Like, you know, she was running it. So she did that. That was the only like little means we had, okay? We didn't have masks, gloves, those nothing, but we were still fully operating. Thank God I was in the back. They had them nurses. We was getting positive cases. Nobody was being notified at the job that worked there. They wasn't telling us, and they was getting all these positives. It was just a lot going on in the beginning stages of the coronavirus, bitch. A lot going on. And so I was just like there, you know, kind of working. And I kind of feel, and this lady always used to call me in her office and be like, well, how do you think about this? Or what do you think about this? So this is when I feel as if I got on her bad side to where me being intelligent became intimidating to her. This is what I feel. And I went in her office and I was like, girl, can I ask you like a question? She was like, what's going on? I said, well, you know, how come we haven't had any meeting or went over anything? First of all, they was giving us memos. And memos like, yes, we got new hand sanitizer to fight the coronavirus, bitch. But we still going to have a full lobby, 300 people. We're still going to have all these people in here, sick visits. And, oh, but they might sit in their car, but we might let one slip. It was just so much bullshit. And so I asked her, I'm like, well, what's going on? And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, we haven't really had any communication. She's like, well, I pass out memos. So here she is getting defensive, right? She's like, well, we pass out memos and all this type of stuff, and we do this and we do that. And I'm just like, right, but like it's not having been no exchange of real information. She's like, I mean, well, we're not allowed to gather. How the fuck are we not allowed to gather, but we're all allowed to be here and go, and all the nurses and shit go on lunch at 12? We're all in one area all the time anyway, bitch. While we're sitting in there, you can maybe say to us something that's going on. And the thing that's crazy to me is it might not even be nothing to say, but it's just like everybody's nervous. Everybody's just still coming to work, still not really understanding. We working in the healthcare industry, bitch. You just don't really know. So, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to say? Like, people is coming up to me, and in my mind, I'm not really meaning like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I'm her fucking, but I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, everybody's asking everybody what's going on, but nobody knows. Like, what am I supposed to tell people? She's like, I don't need you to be my spokesperson. And when she said that, I said, okay. Like, and just was getting up. Like, bitch, because you're trying to make it into something that is not. Like, we are friends. Bitch, we're not friends. Nothing I should say should upset you to how she got. She's like, oh, well, you don't need to be my spokesperson. I don't need you to speak for me. And it's not like I need you to like wave a white flag saying I'm trying my best. Bitch, I know you don't, because number one, you're never, that bitch was never at the office, ever. Never. Her and the secretary lady, they would come with shopping bags showing what the fuck they got. And we got patients here cussing us out and all this stuff happening. Y'all is never there. Y'all always tweedle fucking D'ing and dumbing around the damn town. There's not that many means for you to go to where every fucking time somebody go in your office, you is not there. And I wasn't I know like y'all don't know her, but it is people that will watch this that know. And I wasn't even going to drag this lady like that. And I wasn't going to tell her tea. But they're trying to tell and say that I wasn't rehireable and tell them that I had a customer service issue. I was going to say this to the end. But that pissed me the fuck off. Because my thing with people is I sat there and I don't care. I was going to be like, let me say this, but no. I sat there and I went to that job every fucking day and I did what I needed to do. And you talked to me and you looked me in my face and you said all these things to me and you always did all this shit to me. But I have to save it to the end then. I forgot. I have to save it to the end. So that happens. So fast forward to, I go to her and tell her, like, I'm not really doing a lot because with the coronavirus, all my referrals really slowed down because the real doctors, the doctors aren't even seeing people. So how are they going to refer to our specialists, right? So I myself go to her and be like, I'm not really doing a lot of work. Like, I'm not really doing a lot of work. Like, I feel like I'm just sitting here. Like, do you need my help in any other, like, area? Whatever, right? Here this bitch go, oh, there you go again, impressing me. And all this type of shit. And I'm just like, okay, eating it up. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm just not really doing much. So she's like, okay, well, let us, work it out because I actually was thinking about something for you anyway and blah, blah, blah. So me, like I said, I'm just genuine. I don't care. Like, I don't have to overdo it, but I was like, yes, and I'm just grateful, if anything, that I'm still working and, like, I know everything going on. We'll do it, right? She's like, no, for sure, and, you're such an asset. You're, smart. You can go to any of the things, right? You can go to any of the departments, and I know that you'll help. This is what she's saying to my face. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she tells me, okay, you can start coming. I forgot my little lashes. She's like, you can start coming, and you're going to work the front desk, right? We still in the pandemic. You could work the front desk, and she's like, and you can come in at 6:45 in the morning till 3:30. I'm up. I'm a morning person, so to me, and then even like with my business, it was certain stuff that I had to maybe have to go to the post office for. I could never go till Saturday. It was just like helpful, right? So I'm like, okay. To me, that was her putting her money where her mouth was, and I was like, okay, she really might fool with me. Like, for real, maybe. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, we do that. And this is when the BS started, okay? So, and mind you, though, a year has went by. This is what I want y'all to keep the limit of time. A year has went by, right? Of me working here. Oh, let me go to the Black Lives Matter shit. So, boom. I sent her an email. About everything going on. Basically telling her, like, yes, I am black. But no, I'm not your gateway to the black mind. I don't want anybody at this job asking me about how I feel about any of the killings. I don't want them to ask me why would they go into Target. I don't want them asking me shit at this job, because that don't got nothing to do with this job. And that's the only thing I come here to do is this job, right? It was a very better email. I was going to read it verbatim, but I'm not going to even go there with her. But I sent her that email, right? She's like, Sydney, thank you for this email. I will, take care of that, everything like that. When I start working there, mind you, intelligent. Okay, I bullshit, but y'all know. I know we have a policy because I looked it up before I emailed her. We have a policy about politics we can't discuss, right? And that's the thing about working for people. It's like, it's annoying to work for people that you're smarter than. So I'm working for this woman, and as a person, I'm giving her that respect of having intelligence, right? I'm thinking, because if it was me, I would just print the policy. Every grown person in here gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. If I print that policy that we cannot discuss no politics in this office, don't talk about it, don't say it, y'all gonna know what we talking about. I didn't ask this bitch to stand from a flagpole and say Black Lives Matter. All right, stay with me now. So, Sydney, thank you for this email. This is black eyeshadow going under my eye. Thank you for this email, and I'm going to definitely, take care of that, everything like that, right? So, mind you, I'm avoiding lunch because this is what I sent it to her for, because when we go in the break room, everybody be wanting to scroll on their phone and talk shit about everything going on, right? So, I got to work at like 7:45. That's when I sent her the message, right? She wasn't in her office pretty much all day. Her MO wasn't there. I'm thinking maybe the bitch is a superhero and she fucking fight crime. Fight crime during her work shift, because the bitch don't never be at work. But anyway, so she not there. So I'm like, maybe the bitch is at the damn place. Maybe the job as a whole is talking about it. Benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. I love that. So giving them the benefit of the doubt. So I'm like, okay. So it gets to lunchtime. I get in the lunchroom. As soon as they saw my black ass coming there, that's what they talking about now. Oh, and the thing that makes me mad, any Caucasians watching this, don't talk around us. That's the main disrespectful thing that y'all do. Is y'all talk around us and you talk around the subject for us to chime in, and it's rude as fuck. And it's disgusting and it's uncomfortable. If you want to ask a black person something, ask them. Don't fucking talk about something around me or in my presence for me to chime in. That's fucking rude and it's gross, okay? And I don't give a fuck who's watching it. It's gross and it's mean to do to a black person, period. If you have something that you want to say to a black person or you want to ask about the black culture, ask it like a fucking adult. Don't sit up there and try to talk around a black person and say something that you know will upset them to the point where they're going to say something. That's fucked up. Is it not? Like, now that I'm saying it like that, do y'all understand how fucked up it is to talk around someone to where it gets them emotional enough to burst into your conversation? Is that not rude? Is that not disgusting? Is that not gross? Same page. Okay. So, I'm so infuriated that I asked her to diffuse and get the situation under control, and she just did it. She just didn't. Then the bitch came with new curls in her hair. I feel like maybe got her hair done. Because that's what I feel. She's either a superhero or she do all her upkeep during work. I don't care. She's either fighting crime or she does all her upkeep during work. Period. Because the bitch is never there. She's a fucking superhero. That's just what I think. So I go and I see her and I see her, and when I see her, she's sitting in a chair. I'm doing my hair too. Let me get my smoothie, bitch. I come from the break room, upset visibly, not crying or nothing, but I was like upset, like mad. And I walk up to her and I ask her, I said, what happened to the memo or whatever you were gonna say? She's like, I said, and I didn't give her a chance to get in her office or anything. I was mad. I don't care. I was upset. And I told her, I said, you really just let me down and I really am upset and I'm going home. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm not in the mood or spirits to be here anymore. Because it's like, you don't want to be around people who will do shit like that to you. Because at the end of the day, like, I know white people, it's like they think, like, because they don't understand, because they don't, like, go through it. And it's like everybody learns through, like, habit or, like, example. So of course somebody around them had to do that to a black person, or that's just what they know. But like, as a person that it happened to, it's fucking annoying sometimes, and I didn't want to deal with it. I was tapped out. I was just tapped out. So she's like, oh, okay. And I want to be petty, so let me go get my phone. I'm a verbatim type of bitch. Here's her name. She said, hey, Sydney, I'm really sorry about today. I'm going to call you later. Didn't respond. And she also didn't call because I feel like she felt the energy like, bitch, call me for what? We're not. That's just my whole thing with her. Like, we're not cool. So, I ended up going to work. They let out this statement. It was so, like, annoying that it took. I didn't go to work for 2 days, I believe, because I wasn't going to work until it didn't happen, because I don't deserve that to happen. So she let out this thing, whatever. It was really nice. She didn't let it out. Actually, doctor that's the CEO of our job let it out, and it was very nice. It was like it exceeded my expectations, but really all I wanted was for them to say, like, don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So then I met her daughter. She's like, oh, she loved you, thinks you're gorgeous. I said, I said, it's definitely mutual. She seems like an amazing person. Then it's just like the text is like, bitch, we're not friends. So I'm like, just my confusion, you know? So I get to the front desk, mind you, right? Remember, they moved to the front desk. So I get to front desk. I haven't worked their front desk, but I worked front desk before. So I never worked their front desk. I learned it in about a week. The girl, a woman that sits next to me, she was like, I'm so glad that you're up here. Someone that finally will work and, you know, whatever, everything's cool. So it's a woman, a black woman that was like this with me before I moved to the front desk. It really just seemed like when I moved my seat, it was like everything changed of how they acted at their job. So, let me put my curlers up. So, like, the first day I was up there, it was pretty cool or whatever. It was cool. Mind you, y'all can see me. But yeah, so the woman, mind you, I think she's like 40, bitch. She got kids and shit. Like, she got kids that talk and call her. You know, that's why I use that for an example, because that means like you have kids. Like, she got children. They like FaceTime her and shit. They're kids, right? So she just started acting weird with me. So we got a memo, and one of the other girls was out of town, and we had got the memo, and we always was getting memos, but the memos was never like, it was like 2 lines like, yes, y'all keep up the good work through the coronavirus, bitch, but y'all need to stop doing it. It was just always, right? So that was like a joke at work, like, oh my God, we always getting cussed out in these memos. So the other woman asked me, you know, oh, I didn't read this memo, which I really like. She's the only person I really did like there, but I did hear that she be talking and stuff too. But that's just what the thing I don't like about clinics. It seems like a bottomless pit of old women that life didn't go right. That's just how I feel, and I don't care what nobody have to say, because if you treated me in that way and you was talking about me behind my back and being all snaky and conniving, that's how I look at you. As an old person who your life didn't go how you wanted it, you can't go back in time. You cannot fix it, so you just don't like young women who life is going right, who have that opportunity to make it better than you. That's just how I feel, because there's no other reason, because I don't even fuck with people. But so, and that's how it is at every clinic I've ever worked. And so she got back and she was like, well, I didn't read the memo. And I was like, girl, I said, we just got cussed out again, girl. And so she's like, oh no, what happened? So I was like, girl, just read it. So she's like, and then the other woman, I'm gonna call her Jezebel. I just don't like her, so I'll call her Jezebel. So Jezebel, she's like, don't tell her not to read it. I mean, she can read it. I said, we just got cussed out again. Mind you, we always joke. So I'm like, we just got cussed out again, girl. She don't need to read that. Da, da, da. Like going back and forth, just playing. She's like, and I'm catching the vibe of like she's really trying to make it a big deal. So I'm like, just snap out of my playful mode, and I was like, I was talking to her, but I'm just joking with her. Like I'm respectful to her. She's older than me. I wouldn't just really genuinely tell her like not to do something. Like, you know, in my mind I'm thinking that's common sense. Like, why the fuck would I just tell her really not to do something? And I was like, I'm just joking. Like, okay. I feel me saying I was talking to her, that just rubbed her the wrong way. So I saw her go into the secretary office, but I didn't see, anything else. I don't care. I didn't think none of it. All the other ladies at the front is like, she just went and told on you. I'm like, told about what? She was like, that you told her that. I said, girl, she did not do that. Because I can't fathom that. You know what I mean? I just can't fathom that. I would never do no weird, corny shit like that, so I can't think that other people do that. You know? So I'm like, no, the fuck she didn't do that. Shit. So, like I said, this is the same day. It's a white girl at the job with long red hair, and I feel bad for her because I really genuinely liked her. Genuinely. Like, I would have fucked with her outside of work. And that's just serious. But she's a follower too bad to where she's following that older black lady who life already gone. Ain't got no man, ain't living a happy life. She ain't, because if she was living a happy life, she wouldn't come to work and bring a cloud of misery behind her every day. You know that person that come to work and it's like the top of the morning. Like, give yourself a chance. It's the top of the morning. She walk in like, oh Lord, damn, bitch. Okay, and this is all, I guess I'm just noticing these things because I was at the front desk because I never seen her in that light. I never seen her at that light, maybe because I was just always busy in work when she walked in, so I was on the phone and stuff, but I never seen her in that light. But I just had a complete flip of her. So Jezebel and the white girl, I'm going to call her Jessie. So Jezebel and Jessie is like this, right? Jezebel like Jessie because Jessie make Jezebel feel knowledgeable. Jessie make Jezebel feel like she got life knowledge for her. She's like, I think Jessie like 22. She's young. She make Jezebel feel like she actually knows something or knows the right paths to take to make somebody walk and do. But she really don't. And I'm pretty sure everybody in Jezebel life don't even fucking listen to what she got to say because she full of shit. She just full of shit. I see it. I know it. I didn't pay the bitch no mind. She was just cool. But when I went up there, she showed me who she was. I'm like, oh, you are that type of bitch that I took you out the basket because I didn't want you to be like that. But you are that bitch, right? So the one of the women had brought a piece of paper to the black lady I was sitting beside who is doing everything. Jezebel would sit at the computer and act confused like she had to go get something. And there was another lady there. She just crazy. I like her. She was funny. She was there and she just be damn lost. She be trying her best, but she just be lost out. And she's a sweetheart. But she's like, they brought her a piece of paper. The busy black woman. They brought her a piece of paper. And I'm like, why y'all bring this to her? I said, y'all know she doing all this. Saying like, this bitch and this bitch can do this. Okay, because this lady's training me and she's also juggling everything, and these two are helping her. And you see it. So I'm like, why are you bringing this to her? So long story short, Jessie, the white girl, ended up bringing the paper back anyway. I said, now why y'all do this? And we both started laughing. She's like, girl, I don't know. And I already had sensed that her vibe had changed towards me because Jezebel already done went and told her. Jezebel already done went and told her and just story up because, like I said, so miserable. She done just a story up like I really did something wrong to her, bitch. So, because Jess was like, I don't know. Giving that. So, bitch, hold on. Jessie was giving a little too much. So I had peeped, like, okay, maybe this bitch done told her, like, I did something to her. Okay, boom. But, like, I don't give a fuck. All y'all bitches want to talk to me, want to know me. I don't give a fuck. So, yeah, so that happens, right, with the paper. So, the boss, let me push this back while I do my hair. So, the boss, honey, she calls me in the office same day, okay? The same day that I talked to both these women. Same day, everything, right? So, she calls me in there. And she's like, hey, and I'm like, oh, Lord. She's like, hey, did you tell Felicia earlier today, don't read that bullshit or that book? Like, she said, some cuss word she said. Or don't read that something. I was like, no. I said, no, I told her that we just got cursed out again. Like, I explained to her what I said. And I was like, you know, that's what I told her. I said, but I was just playing. Like, you know, it was just a joke. And she's like, now this is what pissed me off. And I'm not even going to lie to you. It made me a type of mad, like a real type of mad. So she's like, this is what my boss starts asking me. Okay? She says, okay, I mean, well, why? I mean, like, what? Why did you say that? I said, because I was just joking with her. And she's like, well, and she's like, bitch, I need another comb, I think. Hold on, let me get another comb. So, bitch, because I really want to find my little duck clip. And I bought so many of them clips, y'all. And I just cannot find them. And I really be needing them when I'm doing my hair. Because this don't really be working. But anyway. So, yeah. So, she says, you know, did you say these things? And then she starts asking me, like, basically, she starts asking me, like, why was I even talking? Like, at the end of the day, that's what she was asking. Because she's like, why did you say that? And then I start catching wind that's kind of really what she's meaning. Like, why did I even open my mouth? And I just looked at her and I said, well, I'm a grown woman. And I can say what I want to say. And I said, I didn't say it in a way that was inappropriate to work. I didn't say it in a way that offended anybody. And I was having my own conversation. I said, if anything, you need to ask her, why was she talking to me? And she was just like, I'm just saying. She's like, well, I said, okay, what's next? Because you're not going to talk to me like that, period. You're not going to sit up there and basically ask me, why am I speaking? Why are you here? Why aren't you ever here? That's what I should have asked her. Where's your super suit? But anyway, so she's like, well, so I'm just in my mind kind of off that shit. Like, girl. So, and she added too. That's what made me, it was mind blowing because I did not say all that. She's like, this bullshit and all that. I'm like, what? So that black woman went in there and lied. So anyway, so then it gets to the white girl. And she's like, and then you said, I don't know. It was just very outlandish what they said. I said it was just kind of like a little bit too much on it. Like, at least they could have took it a little slow. You know, they didn't have to say all that. And it was just funny to me how she believed it when, and to me, like I said, just think of my confusion. How she was in there questioning me after you done seen women come in there with a fake list on me. You know, like, you done seen women do a lot of shit to me that would piss a normal person off, and I was like unmoved. But you're gonna come in here and just think that all of a sudden, all of those amazing workplace skills that I had, all of those amazing things that were so impressive to you that just was last week, all of the sudden, all of the sudden, literally, I say these things and cuss at the front desk. All of a sudden now, that's my thing with her. It was just like, I was mind blown. Because how come all of a sudden I just don't have no coof? Like, I have no behavior skills. Like, I don't know how to act all of a sudden. Okay? So, I was like, can I have a moment? Because that really upset me. Because I take my job and my livelihood serious because I only take care of myself. Yes, I'm blessed. You know, my boyfriend helps me. My mom, if I can call people. But ultimately, I take care of myself. So I don't do that play stuff when it comes to my job. That's why I don't get into mess. Because it's like, I do this. Okay? So I got upset and I kind of just walked out or whatever. And I left it at that. So when I'm leaving, another messy woman from the job with children and all this type of stuff is going to come up to me and was like, when I walked out of the office, when I actually, came back or whatever. Girl, what's wrong with this? Gonna come up to me, bitch, talking about, what happened? Are you okay? And what happened? And when they say, are you okay? They don't really care if you're okay or not. They just want you to go into what she said, in the office. Because that's their highlight of their fucking day. That's just how I feel. And so, I'm like, girl, nothing. Everything's fine. I'm fine. I'm just walking out or whatever. And I'm like, I'm good. I know that I look pissed because I was pissed. And so I'm like, I'm good. And so I walk out of the office and everything like that. And I go sit down. And the lady was like, the other messy woman, she gonna come and tell me that the white girl, that Jezebel and Jesse was at the door when I was in the office. So that's what pissed me off again. Because the boss done fed into the messy shit that they did. And they was listening to the mess they caused. Just watching it unfold, girl. Just listening to it unfold, bitch. And that pissed me off so bad. It really made me mad. So, I'm like, okay. And I tell the boss. Because I want to prove my point. I go in there and I was like, and just so you know. Brandy told me. They waiting by the door. And I know, and I told her in the office, I said, why would they say that? I didn't say that to them. It pissed me off because it was like a play on my intelligence. Like she just kept saying, oh, I didn't say that. It's the same day. And that's another thing when it goes back to working for people that you're smarter than. Because like I said, if I was a manager, I would have asked the woman I was talking to, and I would have asked a woman sitting next to me, did she say this? Did she say this? I should have never known, because that fuels some bullshit between us women. Because me as a woman, I know that they did that and lied on me to my boss at my workplace. So I'm pissed off. But as a boss, I should have never known. That's just how I feel. If you, bitch, I know y'all gonna comment. I just feel as if I should have never known that they even did that. She should have asked those around me, did a formal investigation of those around me, and let it go. Because I didn't say that. So, baby, when I tell you that black lady, all she needed, baby, and nobody at this job, they don't know me like that. I don't be, acting all, I don't act that old, period. But I just, basically, I'm just trying to get at, she didn't know I wasn't the fucking one. Okay? She just didn't know I wasn't the one. She just didn't know that. And that's not her fault, and that's not something that she should be punished for, but she just didn't know what the fuck was going on with me. Like, she didn't know what she was getting herself into. So, she proceeds, okay, and I've sent, bitch, you know what, forget it. Just forget it. I really want to find that clip, because I know I got one, but I'm not even going to do that right now. Um, but yeah, so baby, she goes in the office. I mean, she sees me and she just starts going in. Like she just starts her picking parade. And you know, when I come to work, she's like acting all weird and saying all this stuff. The white girl, you know, stopped speaking to me. Mind you, the white girl and me, like I said, I thought we was close. I actually fucked with her. Okay, so when she started talking to me and started acting weird, I'm like, okay, it's a fact. Okay, cool. So I don't care. So that happened, and the lady was saying stuff like she'll get hood. Mind you, she's from a place called Sherwood, Arkansas. It's not hood, but anyway. So she's like, I can get hood and saying all this stuff around these white people, trying to impress these fucking white people and all that type of shit. But a real hood bitch, no, a real hood bitch would have just swung on me. She wouldn't have talked about it for days at work. But anyway, I was just sitting there like, this girl is pitiful, and it was just pitiful to me. I'm a young girl. I'm the one should be doing what she's doing. That's just how I look at it. I should be operating like this. I should be doing this, not you. So I'm looking at her like, girl, you look stupid. So, yeah, so she doing all that. But I went in there and I sent the email with all the dates of everything that she fucking said to me. Then I went in there with the lady and I said, I'm not trying to paper trail you, because she got so offended when I spoke to her about how she was handling and conducting the business about the whole virus and stuff. She got in her feelings last time. And so I'm just like, I'm not trying to do anything or say, even though the bitch don't handle or follow up with nothing that she say. I just was trying to, you know, just be like, girl, I'm not trying to, you know, paper trail you, but this is going on. And like I always say, I was like, I don't need you to talk to her. I don't need her to get in trouble. I just hope that she'll slow the fuck down. And it was another younger black girl there that she was just picking on. I mean, picking on her. The girl weighed like 90 damn pounds. And she just picking on the girl every day. Like, why you doing this? And why you doing this? And telling her she doing stuff wrong. Mind you, she don't fucking know how to do nothing up there. So the only thing, when I sat up there, the only thing that she did was criticize, talk about people, and bring negative energy the whole time I was up there. That's the only thing she did. She never opened her mouth unless she was telling somebody that they was doing something wrong and trying to tell them in front of somebody to try to make herself look good or something. And then she was just being fucking rude and hateful. That's the only two things that she was doing when I moved my seat. So I went to lunch and I told the boss or whatever. And the boss was excited to finally go say something to her. That's when I knew the bitch was crazy, because I said, well, because I came back from lunch and the black lady was like, once I get started, I ain't going to stop. To me, that's a threat. Because now you're saying, like, that's a threat to me as a black person. Like, once I get started, I'm not going to stop. Start then, bitch. Like, that's how I felt. Start then. But we're not on the streets. We're at work. This is just my whole mind. We're not on the streets. Like, why am I sitting here having a street mindset at my job? All right? Follow me, because this is where the bullshit, where you're just about to be super mind blown. Bitch. So, the lady says once she gets started, she ain't gonna stop. Bitch, you know, that was enough for me. I said, what is it? Push to start? Like, how we get this popping? You know, how we turn it up? How we turn this bitch up? Because now you threatening me. To me, I feel threatened. Because what you mean you not gonna stop? What that mean? That's just how I felt. What that mean? What do that mean once you get started? Like, what that mean? So I went in there and I told my boss, and I went there. She's like, when I went back in there, she's like, can I finally say something? And I'm just looking at her like, am I in a sea of fucking dumbass high school bitches? Like, is that what I'm at, or am I at a fucking job? And I don't even, well, y'all watch my video. Y'all know I don't cuss like that. But it's just like, what is this? Where am I at? You know, at a certain point, I was just like, what is this? I know my hair look crazy, but just rock with you, girl. I'm going to fix it. But yeah, so it's just like, that's how I just started to feel like, what am I going through right now? And so I'm like, yeah, say something to her, please, because she's sitting up here talking about once she gets started. I said, and that's like a threat to me. And so the lady was like, oh no, like what? And the lady, the boss, talked so much stuff about this girl. Said she was immature, said that, laughed at her, said she was pitiful because of what she was doing. And she was too old to be doing what she was doing. All this type of stuff. Talking about, she has children. I mean, she was like, and she's like, that's the last thing you're worried about. I mean, we all know that she wouldn't beat you up. This is the type of stuff that she was saying to me, right? And so I'm just sitting there like, yes, you know, whatever, like, whatever. So she goes and tells the lady, I guess, because when that lady came out that office, baby, I thought I was a fucking dessert. I thought I became a meal, some food, bitch, the way that bitch was being so nice to me. She came out that office, and it was the same day that she said she was that she was going to start, y'all. She said, one of the ladies was trying to show me some. She going to say something, leave that baby alone. She been training all day. I just laughed. I was like, because she's like, that baby been training all day and all this type of stuff. Now I'm a baby. And I'm like, you want to help me, but just a few minutes ago, you was standing behind me, slamming papers down, saying you was going to get hood. So, yeah. So, that happened. I'm just going to fast forward all the other messy shit. And so, this is the big thing, because this is a long video, bitch. But, so, a patient came, and for our triage, you know, take the temperatures and all that you have to do for the virus, is a very young girl. Like, she was 18 years old. And so she was young, and she really was good at her job. I really liked her. Very sweet young girl. I feel like she'll do good with herself, and I wish her that she does good with herself in life, but I know she will. She's a very smart young lady, and I like her a lot. And so she was a triage girl. And so we had, you know, they had to wait outside until she was able to take their temperature. And, you know, people, it's hot. And all this stuff going on. You got the mask on. You got to get your temperature taken after you just was standing outside. People are frustrated, right? Understandable. Everybody understands. So, older woman comes, and I hear her yelling, and then I heard her kind of like close the door, and I was like, oh my God, all this, right? So I'm like, okay. And I start watching her a little bit. So, the lady comes back, and she's like, you got me standing in this fucking heat. She didn't come. She thought the nurses were going to just come to her car, like she didn't have to check in normally, right? It was just confusing, you know, situation for the patient and everything like that. So the lady got mad, long story short, started yelling in the young girl's face, all this type of stuff. And so I went and I tried to go get my boss, right? But she was probably out fighting crime again because the bitch wasn't there. So I'm looking for her, whatever. She's not there. So then I go and I went to the lady again, and I'm like, ma'am, you know, please calm down. Everything like this. The bitch took her wig off, throws her wig, tells me I'm not a nurse, I need to get out her face, does all this shit to me. And so she says her doctor is Dr. Pitt. She says her doctor's name. So I went to the doctor, and now I'm just going to say a fake name. I said, Dr. Williamson. No, I said, Mr. Williamson, somebody needs to come get this lady. She done threw her wig. I said, she done put her hand in my face. Somebody need to come get her. And they went and got the lady, and I was so upset because they still accommodated her. I feel like that's letting everybody that was in a waiting room feel as if they can talk to all the employees here like that. They can do what they want to do and still be seen on that day and get waited and doted on. I just feel like when jobs do that, that's the most redundant, dumb thing, because you're basically being like, yes, disrespect us, please. You know? They could have at least told that lady to go home and just cool off and rescheduled her for the next day or something, you know. And I kind of felt bad for the triage girl, because imagine how that made her feel. You know, she just got screamed at and all that. But anyway, so that was over. Then we had like a meeting the next day. Tell me why, y'all. The boss had a meeting. We had a meeting. This bitch talking about, we gonna take de-escalation classes and stuff like that to learn what to do in those situations. I guess because she still needs to go fucking fight crime while she's on the job. So after the meeting, she called me in her office, and I was on my phone at the front desk. I think like the only 3 or 4 times I was on my phone, she saw me twice. Meanwhile, the secretary that worked directly under her, it could be patients standing there waiting to check out. She's going to be showing them her ass or anything on her phone. She's going to be talking on her phone all the time when she's not there, because, you know, the boss is always not there. So she just has free reign. She was always on the front on her phone showing somebody something. A patient could be waiting and need something, right? One of the girls basically looked for her fucking house at the front desk the whole time. So basically, long story short, everybody had their phone all the time. So she comes to me and she's like, and earlier that day for my business, Diddy Dollhouse, I want to take some bomb pictures for that. I said I was going to launch it, but I ain't even launched it. But I want to take some more pictures. But Diddy Dollhouse has lip glosses that just came out, right? So I had gave her one just so, because I was at work. So I'm like, okay, y'all test it for me and just tell me what you think, because I see you guys and we're at work and, you know, it'll be easy for me. And so I gave some out and everything like that, and I put one on her desk for her to try. And I talked to her about it that day earlier. Everything was fine, whatever like that. So she comes and is like, can call me in the office, and she had the other lady in there. And she's like, oh, well, basically was telling me I wasn't, okay, the week before, or a few days before, she was telling me, like, she was just so happy how quick I learned the front desk, like how it's just crazy, like I learned it and it's a huge help and everything like that, right? So that week she calls me in there and she's like, oh, it's a customer service thing. She was like, when she said a date, that's when I knew like what was up. She was like, yeah, because on some date, the date of the lady and her homegirl lying about what I said is the date she said. She's like, and remember, you know, when you said da-da-da and all this type of stuff, and then you went and called Dr. So-and-so, Mr. And I'm just going, listen to her go down the line. And I'm like, if this bitch don't hurry up and get to it, shit, hurry up. Tell me that you about to tell me to get my shit and go. Because I really been I was ready to leave anyway, because it just was like a bad experience at the front. And so, because it was just too messy, it was just too much every day. It used to be I go to work and come home. It wasn't like that at the front, because it was just always something they was trying to pull you into something. You know, every fucking day was annoying. So she's like, this is the part that kills me, that keeps replaying in my head. We're terminating you. I said, okay. Bitch, I don't give a hell. And my thing is, I wasn't even going to do like a story time, because like I said, I know people from there is going to watch it and stuff, and I wasn't going to really like blast her like that. But the reason why I'm telling and I'm blasting her, and I was going to read more text messages, but I'm not going to do it. But because I do have like morals and stuff, and I'm not going to take her all the way, so everybody at the job know how much she talks shit about folks, I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is tell the tea, because I have a very good reputation. I'm a good employee, and I have a good name at jobs that I've been at. Okay? So, I was working with this woman to get another job. I'm softly looking, because, you know, my businesses, thank God, I'm not having to rush and look for a job. I can still, you know, live and everything and still be fine. So I'm working with her to find something, you know, that I would like and, you know, just be at. And so she calls me and tells me, she left me a message like, I have to tell you something. This is a grown 60-year-old woman, businesswoman, okay? She's like, I have to tell you something. All right, let me try to fix this here, bitch. She's like, I have to tell you something. I'm like, okay. I'm going to use this big tooth comb to try to do something, bitch. Because I really don't know how to curl. I just be trying. But, yeah. So she's like, I have to tell you something and everything like that. And I'm like, tell me something. It didn't sound, because she's, like I said, a businesswoman. So usually she'll call and be like, I'm going to work on these bangs because I want them to be a little bit tighter, because she did really good layers. So I want them to show a little bit more. But yeah, so, and I'm like, tell me something. So I call her and I'm like, what's going on? So she's like, Sydney, like I called. She called my old job because they work at, they have like multiple, they're like under this company that has multiple clinics and stuff like that, right? So she's like, I was going to send you to one of their clinics, but I was just calling, you know, protocol to see if you're rehireable at a different clinic, right? So I'm like, oh yeah. Because before I left, I looked that lady in her face. I said, this is not going to affect me or nothing like that, because we both know I did not deserve to be fired. We both know that I got fired because I'm making $5 to $6 more than everybody around me. And I'm working at a job that's fucking, they're accepting $12, $14 for this shit. Okay? So I understood. I just would have respected her if she looked at me like a grown woman and said, look, your salary, they probably already found somebody that would work for that amount. And if she would have told me the truth, it wouldn't have been a bad deal and like made it to where I was rehireable. I said, but it's just the fact that they actually acted like I was reprimanded. Like I never signed a write-up the whole time I ever worked there. I've never had any type of paper trail negative against me the whole fucking time I ever worked there. So the lady is like, they said that you're not hireable and that you had customer service issues. And I said, what? She was like, and me, this is what this woman said to me. She said, and me knowing you, she said, I don't feel as if you told me really what happened. And I didn't tell her really what happened because I'm not about to read that job, because like I said, I'm a person that can move on. I had other stuff going on. You know what I mean? Losing that job, that didn't really do anything to me. So it was no point for me to get on the phone with like other services and be like, oh my God, like it was the worst thing. And for fucking what? You know? That's just how I look at it. Like I'm not about to sit up there. Bitch, I'm not doing this right. I'm not about to sit up there and bad talk another job to another job. It's just, that's not professional. So I didn't tell her like what really happened, like the story and everything. And so I ended up telling her, and she's like, so why do they have you listed as not rehireable again? I said, I don't know. And she was like, she just told me, she said, Sydney, we ain't even gonna worry about them. She said, we don't even have to, list their name on nothing. And I was like, okay, cool. So what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is like, stop letting these jobs make you look at what you did wrong, and stop letting these jobs make you feel like there's nothing after that, because there's a lot of things after that. And I used to be that way when I had to just realize, just because, like I say all the time, just because I would never, and I can't fathom the shit that people do to other people, that does not mean that it's not a real thing, and that does not mean that there are not people out there that will do you like that. Because I just went through this woman praising, texting, calling, trying to, her daughter, all this type of shit. And you know what really upset me the most? The day, when she fired me, she had my lip gloss that I just gave her that day on her desk, like ready to throw it back in my face, like, oh, and here, like I was going to say, give me my lip gloss back. Bitch, fuck that lip gloss. You can keep that lip gloss so you can tell people that you once knew me, bitch, while you watch me succeed in life, while you watch me continue to do what I'm going to do and be who I'm going to be. You can keep that lip gloss to say, like, I knew her before, or like as a souvenir. Bitch, I don't give a fuck. That's just really, that's how I feel in my heart of hearts. You can keep that lip gloss because you can say, hold this up and be like, this is the first Diddy Dog House lip gloss. And that was my last wake up call. My man sent me a picture. But yeah. that was my last wake up call from God, like, to stop giving myself to these people because they don't deserve it. Like, they just don't deserve it. So the next job, I'm taking my time and I'm looking for a job. And the only reason I'm getting a job is because I want to continue to fast track my business growth. Because if I get a job, all my bills automatic draft. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to worry about it. But all of the money from my business can go towards my business, and I can just grow my business with that money from it. Instead of having to take some for living, take some, I'm not there yet to where I can just live the way I want to live without working or whatever. So that's the story, bitch. And I know it was long, but it was just a lot of BS, and it was a lot of wrong shit going on. And I just had to tell the tea because, and I know people at work want to see and the thing about it, that's another thing that's ghetto and messy and like gross is like when they did it, I did not act no type of way because I didn't care, like I said, and I was just like, okay, and I said, okay, well, I'll come get my things. Listen to what I'm saying. I think it was I don't know, it was a Wednesday, it wasn't a Friday, but I was like, I'll come get my things Saturday. And because, like I said, just how messy everybody at that job was, I just didn't want to be packing my little bag or something and everybody be around me just being fake. I'm like, shit, I'm released from this place. I don't want to deal with this shit no more. So I was just like, I'm going to come get my stuff on Saturday, which I don't ever move in at no job because of that. Like, these jobs don't give a fuck about you. You sitting up there got a year's worth of shit up here and you done moved all up here like these people wasn't gonna do your ass wrong, and then you gotta sit there and pack all that shit up. Baby, please. I don't move into no job. But yeah. And I wasn't even gone out the building. And the white girl Jessie, was outside on break with the other girl. And they didn't even have what even happened, right? Because she said, what the fuck happened? I hope you okay. And I texted her, I said, girl, y'all said I was cussing. Like, bitch, don't text me acting like you don't know what happened. You were the ball that got this rolling, right? And she said, girl, I haven't said a thing. I don't go in that office because Teresa been looking real on edge and I don't feel like causing a problem. They fired you for cursing. I said, I'm making money off of my own name. I really could care less. Like, and she was like, good. Hey, girl, you ran through my mind. Then she texted me like a few weeks ago talking about, hey, girl, you ran through my mind. I hope you're doing good. I am doing good. And I'm going to continue to run through your mind because you know that I really liked you and you know that you fucked it up. Don't text me. Don't think about me. I don't need to run through your mind, bitch, because you don't run through mine. Girl. Yeah, girl, that's all I got. And I'm ready now, ain't it? So I guess that's it.